If you have a passion for cars, then you don't want to miss the next story. Jennifer Murillo stopped by the Corvette Car Show to bring us details about America's sports car.
We're at the Automobile Driving Museum to learn all about Corvettes at the Tribute to Corvette Design.
It's an American car. It's an American icon. Most other cars are part European or part this or part that, and there's really no iconic American sports car. And so it kind of just took into that area and defined the American sports car.
These are absolutely gorgeous cars. The cars that are on display here today, you've got all 7 generations of Corvettes here. This convertible here happens to have an automatic transmission, but it has a 454 big block Chevrolet engine in it, which makes this car extremely rare with a big block in it. Most of them had 327s in them. So this is a very unique car right here.
First one was in 1953, and then the subsequent generations, they have more horsepower and they have better styling, whatever, but they're all beautiful.
There's 2 things kind of rare about this particular car. One is it's the only one they painted this color. It's called Venetian red. The previous owner told me that the color was red, and it was one of 100 that they painted red in 1954. When these came out, they increased the horsepower from this engine, the basic engine, from 110 to 150 horsepower, which increased the compression ratio, and they were very hard to start in the hot weather.
The Chevrolet Corvette that began as a convertible concept show car in its first model transformed over the years from the inside out.
They made this body style, they made the C2 body style from 1963 to 1967. And the first year, 1963, they had the split window in the Corvette, which was unique at the time. The split was sort of a controversial aspect. There were people in General Motors who didn't think it was a good idea, but the designers prevailed, and that's how the car was issued. And when you drive it, you have a little bit of a blind spot, but it's so unique and it attracts attention. And from my perspective, it's the best Corvette designed ever.
In 2000, this coupe came out on a list as one of the 50 most notable cars ever designed. As the years went by, Corvette designers and engineers continued to improve the generations.
I had a lot of chance to work on the Corvettes from the very beginning, and I have had a love for GM engines for all that time. And once you get involved in something as deeply as that, there's not much desire to switch out.
This is called a clamshell hood, and in 1984, when this car was designed, this was the largest piece of fiberglass put on a production automobile. The big thing in this year was tuned port injection, that's what these tubes are, and it actually rams the fuel-air mixture into the engine for better horsepower. So in 1989, this car produced 245 horsepower. Well, now you could buy a lawnmower that probably has the same horsepower. This glass hatch is the largest piece of glass that was ever produced for a production car up to that year.
One of the important things that we've seen in automobile change in design over the years is that we've had to improve because of the environment. Electronics have really made a big difference in the way cars are built from an engineering standpoint. But what interested me mostly in automotive design is aerodynamics. And it's interesting that some of the great aerodynamic principles that I've applied to some of the designs I've done, like the Daytona Cobra Coupe, were actually thought up in about the late 1930s by the Germans, who were very advanced in aerodynamics at that time.
Even with the evolution of the Corvette, most continue to have love for the car and all its history. For Segundo TV, I'm Jennifer Murillo.